And you're looking at all of my Dive 2 footage. Unfortunately, my stupid self, I put my camera in photo mode and didn't realize it. So all that time I thought I was taking video, I really just snapped a single picture at the surface, and that's about it. I was going to put those pictures in the video here, but I promptly deleted them without really thinking about what I was doing. So even those pictures are gone. That's really unfortunate because that was a really cool search, actually, a nice dive. That was, well, first of all, I got to make a correction on the last video. I was not searching for the 50-pound weight last video. That boat anchor was not 50 pounds. That was probably about 20 pounds, maybe. I just misremembered what I was searching for when I made that comment. But on the second dive, I was searching for the 50-pound weight, so it was right off the primary dock at Mermet. Basically, the instructor grabbed the weight, told me to look the other direction while I was on the dock, and he went down and hit it. Obviously, I couldn't see him. You know, the visibility is best you're ever going to get at Mermet in October, but you know, it's the bubbles, basically. He didn't want me to see where his bubbles were coming up. But it was so busy that weekend, I probably wouldn't be able to distinguish his bubbles anyway. And in fact, it took a long time. I was starting to get a little worried, but he finally came back. And, you know, you have just as much problem bringing a 50-pound weight down under control. So he has to use a lift bag to bring it down. You know, you can't just drop it because there's other people there. And he wanted to hide it in a specific place. But the search pattern I did for this was a expanding square. And that basically is you start at a center point and pick a direction. It's better if you pick like a cardinal direction because that's easier to see on your compass. And so, for example, you go north for 2 kicks, and then you go east for 2 kicks, and then you go south for 4 kicks, and then you go west for 4 kicks, and then you go north for 6 kicks. And, you know, you kind of, the idea is you keep doing this square that expands until you find the object. And I think I did okay with that. He actually complimented my search patterns. I'm glad I found the weight when I did because I was starting to get a little off kilter there of the pattern. You know, it's the plan always works better than the execution. So, and counting kicks, you can kind of, you know, you start to drift through the water a little bit, and you're not going quite the right direction, and you start thinking, wait, did I just kick 6 or 8 times? I mean, the whole time you're looking for something while also checking your computer, you know, checking your depth, everything. It's just, there's a lot on your mind. And so you can kind of get off the plan if you're not being careful. But luckily I found the object. That was my first foray into not being able to tie a knot. And well, so what I did was, I remember this now. Man, I wish I had footage of this because it was really very good. But I looped the rope around the weight and not the lift bag. So I tied a good bowline actually, and realized the lift bag was not attached. And so I tried untying the knot, which I could not do with my gloves on. And so now I'm thinking, what the hell? So I started looking around for a stick or something that I can try to poke in this knot, you know, to help me untie it. And my instructor is just kind of laughing at me the whole time. And then he finally gives me the brilliant idea of just looping the rope through the lift bag and tying another knot, which I certainly should have thought of. But I did not. Anyway, I executed that pretty well, so it was actually 2 knots to bring the object to the surface. So that was cool. Ended up working out, and actually you'll see this on the third dive. I did that again in the third dive. Yeah, there's something mental about, for me anyway, about being underwater. And yeah, it's just different tying the knots underwater. Loop through things. Like, you can tie the knots. I wish I'd practiced tying the knots, looping through things. I mean, it should be exactly the same, but conceptually, underwater, it just looks different. And so my mind just kind of freaks out. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? And we'll get more into this on the third dive, where I tried tying these knots and they weren't tying. But anyway, since I don't have any actual footage, I'm going to quit this here. And I will see you for dive number 3.